Always have that initial die-off when you arrive birds, right? Because that's stuff that was either faulty out of the egg or not, like, or has not eaten or drunk out of the egg. So that's your 72-hour die-off. After that, you're going to have mortality that's maybe your fault. You get too cold or whatever. But if it's normal within the normal ranges, it doesn't have to. After 72 hours, it's definitely your fault. No, we use Moyers out of Pennsylvania. The thing about chicks, remember, you want to find the hatchery that can get you the birds the fastest, because it's all about getting them started quick. So the least amount of time between the hatchery and you is the key. So, and remember, we talked about meat birds all coming from about 2 different places, so it's really not about a better bird or a worse bird.
Right.
Just get a place that gets them to you quick. Yep.
Where do you guys tend to source them from?
We'll say from Moyers Hatchery out of Pennsylvania, because we can literally drive it. We actually drive there and pick them up. Yeah. Same thing. Exactly. Same thing. So. Yep. Exactly. Here you go. You're good. Let this guy behind you. He's good. Let this guy get a picture. That's right. There you go. Let you get a picture. But yeah, that's again. I don't. When people say what hatchery, I don't care.
Yeah.
There's not enough difference between one hatchery and another when it talks about meat birds. Just get one that's close.
What's your fuel efficiency on your heat?
Probably not very. If I was going to redo this, I'd make the ceiling much better. Yeah. But we do deal with a lot of heat in the summer, so it's nice to have that ventilation. It's a balance. So like this time of year, yeah, the fuel efficiency is not great. In the summer, they're hardly on at all. And
2 weeks?
what's that?
2 weeks?
There'll be 3 weeks in here.
3 weeks?
Yeah, somewhere between 2.5 and 3, depending on the season. Yeah.
How often do you guys have a new batch come in?
Every 3 weeks. So literally, like they'll be going out on a Tuesday, and we'll have new birds coming in on a Wednesday. So you have to have, so your change out has to be efficient. Like you want to put them in, all it is a quick stir, fresh bedding on top. We don't take the bedding out, it's just fresh stir of the old bedding, like 2 to 3 inches of fresh bedding, 2 inches is plenty. And then you reset everything and the birds come back in. So it's really that fast. It's in it. We've been loading out in bad weather. If it's pouring down rain on a Tuesday, we'll wait till Wednesday. We'll take them out on Wednesday, and then literally the birds are sometimes sitting in the van right here waiting to go until we get done, and then they drop in. But
at your high time, how many tractors will you be running up top?
Well, up top we'll be running about 40. We'll be running 4 rows of 10 apiece. Is
that the most that you get?
No, that's the most that we can fit in that pasture.
Okay.
So then after that, they're going to be either in another pasture, or we actually have some other subcontractors on some other farms. So at our peak, I think we're going to be running. Between maybe 70 or 80 shelters. But that's also pullets, young birds, that's turkeys at their young stage, that's broilers. It's all together. So meat birds, about 50, 60 shelters.
What about?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it looks like you might have some clear panels up there. Is that on purpose, or? The
clear panels, yeah. So we want to get ambient light in there. Ambient light is the most #1 disease killing. The sun is the disease killer. The disease killer of the the planet. It really is. But we don't want direct sun, because then they will cheat and they'll think anything that's direct light, they will think is heat, right? So they will go to that even though it's not. So you can see it's really careful. We got a long overhang here, so there's no sunlight getting to the floor of the birds, and the light panels are on the north side of the building, which keep the light from getting to the floor. So you have ambient light, but not direct light. So they'll think if direct light hits the floor, they will go to that thinking it's warm, but it's not. It's fool's gold, and they'll stay out there and get cold.
How deep did you say the bedding was again when you
when we first started, 3 to 4 inches, and then we just put in like an extra 2 every time, and it'll build all the way up to the top of this, if we need to. Yes. What's going on?
You guys do your own bedding, shred it?
No, this is typically wood shavings from a cabinet shop that we get nearby. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What about processing? How often do you process?
Then we're processing. We're processing every 3 weeks, or as many days out of those 3 weeks as we need to get them all dead. So sometimes we might do like 2 days 1 week and then 2 days the next week, and then have a week of nothing. So it just depends. If you can do them all in like 1 week, that's perfect. You just hit that window, and it's an 8-week cycle. So once we start that 3 week process, and that keeps our brooder the most full, and it's all in, all out. So instead of trying to do a batch every week in the 3 different sections, it's much more efficient to group your work. Just do 3, 1 all in, and then, right?
But what about is it any different for ducks? Or do you guys have ducks?
We have some ducks, yep. As far as different how
As
you
far
mean.
as like the brooding, or do you do them in there
The main
too,
thing about the
or-
brooder on the ducks is you typically, I like to put them in those elevated ones, so that it's real easy to have their water drained out, so that
right.
when they make a mess with their water, you can catch it in a tub and let it drain out automatically.
Alright.
That's kind of the main thing on that, because it's just too hard to keep the bedding dry. Go ahead.